Hello, it's Jennifer McGuire and I'm happy to be part of Simon Says Stamps Summer School. Today I wanted to show you a fun way to use dies to create stencils. And I did so to create this sun pattern here, and I used a fun product called Pharaoh. So I'll show you how to do all of this. It's actually pretty easy to do. So there is this new die from Simon Says Stamp. It's a sun ray. I absolutely love it. And I went ahead and die cut it with my die cut machine. I think I have 4 pieces here, and I'm going to adhere them all together. Now this die works with any die cut machine. I happen to use the Vagabond. And these are all just pieces of scrap cardstock. And I just cut the piece from it. Doesn't matter what, that these are perfectly shaped or evenly cut, because I'm just using this as a stencil. So I want the stencil to be thicker, so that's why I'm gluing 4 layers of cardstock together here. And I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive in between each layer. You don't need to use a whole lot of adhesive here. Now this stencil I'm going to use just this one time for this technique. However, if you wanted to create one that you could reuse, you could cut it from a piece of plastic. Now here, this is glitter paper from American Crafts. I love it, and Simon Says Stamp sells it in 6x6 pieces, a little pack of 6x6 pieces in different shades of glitter, and I love, love, love this because it's a subtle glitter. It just adds a little bit of interest and adds a little bit of texture without just being too crazy. So I am just using some washi tape to hold this in place. So I'm just putting it onto my work surface, my craft sheet, and holding the paper to it and then the stencil on top of that. And this way it won't shift when I add the product on top. So the product I'm using here today is called Pharaoh, and it's from Viva, and it comes in different colors. I like the silver and the gold and the graphite. I think they're nice versatile colors that you can use with lots of things. I've used the silver in a video in the past. Here I'm just taking some random scraps of cardstock. Actually, I think this is thicker than cardstock, some cardboard from packaging. And I'm using it to kind of put on some blobs of this over my stencil. This is like just a thick paste. I'm not really sure how to describe the consistency, like toothpaste, but a little grittier. And I think it's great for adding a little bit of shine, not too much, but a great texture on top of your project. So I'm just taking it and smearing it around over the stencil. Now the reason I layered several pieces of cardstock together to create the stencil is so that I could have a nice thick layer of this Pharaoh on top here, so that it gives nice dimension too. You could by all means just do a thin layer and get great effects too. Now if you don't have this product, you can use modeling paste or any kind of product like that and then paint it gold when you're done. But I really like this Pharaoh. I think there's a lot that you can use it for, and it's just like a thick metallic dimension. So now that I've kind of evened this out and smoothed it out, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's part of the fun of this project is that it's kind of uneven. Now I'm going to take this off. Now when I take this stencil off, I want to be super careful not to shift it because I don't want to mess up the product. But I don't want to let it dry on there because I'm afraid it would mess it up even more. So I've removed it, and now I've got this piece that I'm just going to set aside and let dry. It really doesn't take all that long to dry. So next I wanted to show you, after I let this dry, I just trim the piece down, and I'm going to add a little bit to this card. I think this is pretty much enough, so I'm just going to add a little bit. So I have this little heart that I die cut from a Simon Says Stamp die. I love this mini hearts die because it cuts these perfect little embellishments. I had a leftover piece in my little pocket here that was pink paper, and I just used a red marker to color it because I thought a little red heart in the center of the sun would be just the pop of color that this card needs. So I'm going to add that with a foam dot. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece. I cut a piece of white Nina cardstock into a card base, and I'm just going to glue this onto here. Now I felt like this needed a little definition, so I'm actually going to put 2 thin pieces of black cardstock above and below this. Now you could have used an entire piece of black cardstock behind this sunshine here, but there's really no need to waste that much. I think these little scraps are perfect and makes it look like you created a black mat for this piece, but in fact you just used some tiny little scraps. I also decided to use one of these new stamp sets from Simon Says Stamp. It's a fabulous one. It's got inside and outside greetings for cards. So there's some greetings that work on the outside of the card, and then one that kind of corresponds with it to go on the inside. And there's a lot of clever ones on here. It's a really unique set, and I really like it. So I stamped "Everything will be okay" on the outside, and "We got this" on the inside. So that's it, a fun but clean and simple card using some new products from Simon Says Stamp and creating your own stencil using die cuts. If you have any questions, please head over to simonsaysstamp.com or jennifermcguireinc.com. Thanks for watching and we'll catch you next time.